Hello and welcome into the New Orleans Saints pregame report presented by Harrah's New Orleans. I'm Caroline Gonzalez, joined by John DeShazier here in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome as the 10-2 New Orleans Saints get set to take on the 10-2 San Francisco 49ers. JD, we know that New Orleans controls its own destiny. They are currently number one in the NFC. What does that mean for this team moving forward?
Well, basically, they want to win this game, obviously, because if it gets down to a head-to-head situation with San Francisco, you own the tiebreak. They already own the tiebreak with Seattle, so no concerns there. And what the number one seed means is simple. You get to play all your playoff games at home up until you leave for the Super Bowl. The Saints were in the same situation last year. Didn't win the NFC Championship game here last year against the Rams, but we know a huge missed call, no call, and that one kind of cost them. So, you want to be at home. The Saints are built to win on the road. They are a team that can win on the road, but you'd much rather do it at home.
Absolutely, in front of these incredible fans. Now, we know that the Saints are dealing with some injuries right now, especially at the linebacker position. What can you tell us about it?
Yeah, A.J. Klein and Kiko Alonso, both of those guys are going to be out. So DeMario Davis and Craig Robertson will probably be your starters there. We also know along the offensive line they had some injuries. Andrews Pete remains out, but Teron Armstead practice limited this week. Might be a go in this game. We know he had an ankle issue where he sprained his ankle, missed the last game, but he's a guy who loves to be on the field for his teammates, so he might be out there in this game, and certainly the Saints love him protecting Drew Brees' blind side.
Now, the inactives list will come out shortly following this pregame report. Be sure to check out NewOrleansSaints.com and the Saints app for the inactives list. But to help with the linebacker position, the Saints did bring in Manti Te'o. He talked earlier in this week about how he's grateful to be in the New Orleans Saints locker room.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity, a great position for me to be in a place that's very familiar and very familiar with me. So the transition is pretty smooth.
What were some of the things you were doing while you were out?
A whole lot of training. That's about all you can do. You keep yourself ready for whenever the opportunity is going to present itself, and just continuing to make sure that I'm ready, physically, mentally, spiritually. Spending a lot of time with family, which was the best part of the whole thing. Being able to have a Thanksgiving. I haven't had a Thanksgiving since I was 18 years old with my family. So it was real nice to be with everybody.
Now, another area that Manti Te'o hopes to improve for this defense is penalties. In this year, the Saints have committed 95 penalties for 820 yards. That's something that Sheldon Rankin spoke earlier this week about.
We're not naive to the fact that, over the last 4 weeks or whatever it is, we're essentially the worst penalized team in the league or something like that or close to it. So for us, it's about controlling what we can control, whether it be technique, fundamentals, where we're putting our hands out on people, how we're hitting people, when we're hitting them. Those things we can control, but sometimes there's gonna be a call here that's just the way the game goes. Sometimes it's the cost of doing business, but we're gonna control. We can control, get those penalty numbers down, because that can come back to bite us. And in crunch time situations in games where there is no tomorrow, where there is no okay, we'll fix it next week. So we got to get that fixed now. Because essentially for us, with where we're trying to go, we got to think about it like there is no later, there is no tomorrow to fix it. We got to fix it today and continue to get better.
JD, this offense has averaged 31 points over the last 3 games. You would think they would be satisfied, but they're going to be going against a tough 49ers defense. What do you expect to see?
Well, you want to see more efficiency. I mean, Sean Payton said it this week. They haven't done well in the red zone. They haven't been as efficient as they like to be on third down. And even though they've averaged those 31 points, they've left points on the field. Will Lutz has kicked a ton of field goals for this team lately. And those are scores, obviously, but you want to cash in with touchdowns, especially those short field goals where you're getting into the red zone and unable to capitalize. And the Saints also have not been very good in time of possession. Atlanta had the ball against them for about 35 minutes in that game. That's not the team that's not what this team wants to be. They've been really good at controlling the football, and if they hadn't controlled the football, they put the defense on the field for a lot of snaps.
Now, quarterback Drew Brees spoke earlier this week about the pressure that this 49ers defense brings.
They've been able to get a ton of pressure just with their front four, and that's such an asset. It allows them to have more people in coverage, more eyes on the ball. They've been able to generate a lot of negative plays that way. They've been able to generate a lot of turnovers that way. So, yeah, that's the number one recipe for a good defense is when you can get after people with the front four.
JD, a storyline all week has been making the San San Francisco offense one-dimensional and limiting that run game. What do you expect to see out of the Saints defense this game?
Well, you got to be able to stop the run if you want to be anything defensively in the NFL. The Saints have been fantastic at it, only giving up 88 yards a game. That's third fewest in the league, but San Francisco, second best run offense in the league at 148 yards a game. And they've got about 3 guys who are home run hitters at running back. The Saints have been fantastic at getting teams to be one-dimensional. They did it to the Falcons on Thanksgiving night. That led to those 9 sacks and the 3 turnovers. They've been able to do it for the most part all season long. When they've gotten in trouble defensively, it's because they haven't been able to stop the run. When they do it very well, but they really have to get after it against this San Francisco team because they present a lot of problems on the ground.
Well, Von Bell spoke just earlier this week about the problems that this 49ers offense brings.
With the turbo motion, with all the shifts and motions before pre-snap and after the snap, and that's what they do. They try to get with your eyes, and they're still running the same plays. And they got a certain amount of plays, but they run it out of all 4 personnel. It's like 12, 21, 11 personnel, and that's what you go get. And you just got to get ready to fit the run up and just be ready to have good eyes with your keys.
How good is this defense feeling now? You guys, last game, obviously, you got the 9 sacks, the 3 turnovers. You've had some great performances here in the second half so far. How good is this defense feeling?
I feel like we haven't played our best yet. We know that too. It's still a lot of little things we got to clean up off film, just be more detailed, and just keep on holding each other accountable and keep on playing for the guy next to you.
JD, it's something we've talked about every week. Will Lutz in the special teams, he has been automatic, and you hope that performance continues today.
You know, he had that one rocky patch, but other than that, he's been money for this team. He's got 2 game winners as time expired this year. He scored all the points in the 12-10 win against Dallas. He had 4 field goals against the Falcons. That was a 26-18 win. So he's been as formidable as a special teamer as anybody in the league. He's just, as you mentioned, just been almost automatic. He's been fantastic for this team, and they know when they get in situations, they can count on it.
Well, Will Lutz spoke earlier this week in the locker room about just how automatic he hopes to continue to be.
Yeah, I mean, I live for those moments. That's why I'm in the position I am. I think the thing that separates kickers who are in the league and who aren't are the guys who can handle those moments. And that's the mental side of the game, is who can get the job done when they're called upon. And yeah, I mean, those kicks this year, those are my favorite kicks of my career. So it's pretty cool.
Well, as fans continue to come into the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, we hope they bring the noise. And that's certainly something that Drew Brees and Sean Payton spoke on earlier this week about what they expect from this fan base.
Big game. I think we'll have a great atmosphere. Our fans are smart. They're football people. They understand the importance of the game, and they understand the significance of that they can have on an opposing team. I mean, it's different, and it's not the loudest venue in our league, so that's a good plus for us.
I think the dome will be rocking. We need the fans in full force, right? Listen, we got the greatest fans in the NFL, and they know how to create that home field advantage. You know, that dome atmosphere that's just electric. It gets us hyped up, makes it really hard for opposing teams, and just lets them know it's going to be a long day, man. We need the Who Dat Nation out in full force.
All right, before we wrap things up on this pregame report, make sure you download the Saints app or go to NewOrleansSaints.com to check out the inactives list before kickoff at noon. Again, 10-2 versus 10-2. You don't want to miss this game. You can watch on WVUE or Fox, or listen in if you're local on WWL 870 AM with Zach Streif and Deuce McAllister. For John DeShazier, Caroline Gonzalez, make sure you tune in to the post-game show following the game immediately right here on NewOrleansSaints.com. Thanks for joining us.